So we have our colleague from DG Environment. So let me get that right this time. He is the Director of Natural Capital. His name is HumbertoDELGADO Rosa. And he previously served many other positions, but he did serve as Secretary of State for the Environment of the Portuguese government between 2005 and 2011. And it's so lovely to see you, and you and I know that I am actually seeing you 2 days running, but with different sorts of hats on, a little bit different hats on. First of all, now I only have 15 minutes with you. I know that's tricky. So if I do a bit of this, forgive me. Anything particular first that resonated for you? And I'm particularly talking because we're looking at, how the project and its recommendations can contribute also to the EU biodiversity strategy. We heard there from Pierre, CAP, we need to improve the biodiversity performance in the CAP, the sustainability performance. So was there anything that resonated first in what your colleague said in particular?
Oh, there was a lot that resonated in everything I've heard and in the FAP project indeed, because, well, just to set the record straight, we do face a dramatic situation of nature and biodiversity worldwide, which is a twin problem to climate change. It's a very clear from science. And we also know that the main drivers of loss, the first of one is land use change, and also sea use change, by the way. And this decline is especially severe in agriculture areas, including in Europe, which brings a bit of a contradiction, because indeed, healthy ecosystems are the basis for a functioning and productive agriculture. We don't have machines to do the water, the air, the soil, or indeed the food. It's nature tamed by humans that actually does it. And also health ecosystems protect against climate change. So if this crisis is not tackled, guess who will suffer more in the end? Well, the first ones is the farmers themselves, from soil degradation, pollinators disappearance, etc. And if things get better and these services, these functional agro-biodiversity services that nature provides, serve first and foremost the farmers. So everything under discussion in this event relates indeed to biodiversity, to the biodiversity strategy and what it can entail. The biodiversity strategy, you said it, is quite ambitious because that's what's needed. That's what's needed to use nature on the path of recovery to 2030. And some of its specific targets do address directly agrobiodiversity, or if you want, farming. You know about it, reducing the use and risk of pesticides, reducing the loss of nutrients, increasing organic farming, increasing the structural diversity in agricultural land by requiring this 10% of agricultural land to consist of high diversity landscape features that were very much lost. So if these actions come in, they not only reduce the impacts of the agriculture sector on biodiversity, they also bring back these ecosystem services that functional biodiversity deliver. In a way, functional biodiversity link nicely nature and productivity. It's a form to say we do have nature-based solutions out there ready to come to apply also to farming. So this is, in a nutshell, what came to my mind in general. Back to you, Katrina.
And when you say there, it serves farmers, FAB serves farmers, we also had at the end of, just before the break, there was a comment going in saying, yes, it was so nice to hear one of the project partners sort of saying that farmers are also there to mitigate climate change, but perhaps there isn't a wide enough understanding that they are seen as, contributing to it. So do you think that from that consumer point of view, making the link with all of that, protecting nature, I think consumers know about sort of the food side of it, but the nature side and what farmers, or do you think there needs to be more awareness amongst, the likes of me and about that so critical part of a farmer's life and livelihood and their work?
Well, I would say that probably, let's say, the public opinion landscape versus farming has been changing. For long, farming is cherished by Europeans in the sense that it provides food of quality, food security, but also in the minds of several, it also provided for healthy landscapes, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Areas we like to see. Why has this changed? Well, because it's not the problem, it's not agriculture. It's certain agricultural practices actually reduce nature, reduce pollination, reduce habitats, and can degrade the landscape. And this is something that Europeans don't want. What Europeans want, they want healthy food, and they do equate healthy food to natural food, whatever that means for them, and to nice landscapes. So in this sense that I find this debate, including on the common agriculture policy, very important, because the CAP's money, which is a big chunk of EU funds, is taxpayers' money to begin with. It's not farmers' money. It begins by being taxpayers' money, and it should go to where societal expectations are. And societal expectations, of course, food and fiber production in good quality, sustainably, but more climate, more biodiversity. So when we bring in this kind of project, like the FAB project, it's an excellent example of when researchers and farmers work together, the solutions are out there. Farmers know a lot about how to manage their land, also in a favorable way for nature. And I would say that the measures, probably all, they contribute to several of the targets I've referred for agricultural biodiversity and often beyond. To give some examples, when managing an hedgerow, you contribute to a higher share of high-value landscape features. You can also help reduce pesticides because there's enhanced natural pest control and weed control. You can be stimulating pollination. The same applies to field margin management. If you bring in diverse structural elements, such as flowering strips, you can reduce fertilizers and pesticides because you have some ecosystem services providing for that, and so forth. So I think the knowledge is there both from science and farmers, and bringing this together in a transition to sustainable agriculture based on agroecology is pretty much the answer I would expect.
Okay, I have two more questions for some really concise answers, and I want to come to something, but the obvious first one is, okay, so you said absolutely, you know, FAB serves farmers. This is a part of it. This is, you know, part of what the ambitious biodiversity strategy aims to achieve. So there's some specific recommendations there. Can they be integrated into policy? On specifically when we're looking at biodiversity, and how can those measures be supported and picked up more widely? And I just need a few points on both, if I may ask, please.
Very quickly, I do think that all the policy recommendations have a clear link with biodiversity policy and can, and to a certain extent, already are taken on board. For instance, if you think of using the CAP as an instrument to stimulate farmers to go towards agroecology, as Pierre Bascu said it, we do have these new, for instance, this new instrument, the eco schemes, which will offer a major stream of funding to sustainable practices, including agroforestry, agroecology, creating landscape features, and so forth. So, of course, we need to count on the member states for this also, but it's an avenue that is there. Or when you refer to promoting independent advisory services, well, they're also funded under the CAP, and indeed, they should have a stronger focus also on biodiversity measures. An emphasis on the role of agriculture in promoting biodiversity. That's all we are aiming, well, I would say with the Green Deal as such, and specifically on biodiversity also. And on research, also Pierre referred to it, but indeed the Horizon Europe program will include long-term strategic research agenda for biodiversity, and also covering how can biodiversity be used for agriculture and vice versa. So yes, I think the recommendations are fit for purpose. Okay.
Am I allowed to close it, or did I not give you a chance to give all of the information that you needed to? And I'm only doing this in the interest, and there is no, I now feel I've done that bad protocol thing that I've given your colleague more time, but in the interests of keeping our audience with us. Is there anything you didn't get to say, Humberto?
No, everything was said also because the Commission does speak with one voice, and I endorse everything that they have said before me. So I'm just complimenting. That's absolutely nice.
Okay, thank you so very much, and for your clarity there. And I like that. If anybody is tweeting, and they should be, I think what you said there, look, from the Commission, FAB serves farmers. So I think if that's all right, that's a very nice quote that we could attribute to you. So I thank you very, very much for your time, and thank you, we were a bit late coming to you, for your understanding. You can take a breather backstage now.